cannot remove our ignorance. It's the difference between understanding and realization. And that transformation requires a guru. The Mundaka Upanishad gives us the beautiful instruction. Tat Vijnanartham sa gurumeva abhigachet. If one desires to know that supreme truth, one must approach a guru. When you say approaching a guru, I have this thought which I have shared in one of my earlier speeches also, in terms of what our Mahasannidham and Sannidhanam means in terms of approaching a guru. I say that they are akin to Agni, not in the fiercest sense of the word Agni, but in a very benign sense. If you wonder why, on a cold morning, if we need warmth, we look for that Agni. And that Agni stays in that place, and we need to approach the Agni to receive that warmth. And that Agni doesn't differentiate who comes near to give that warmth. He can be a poor guy, he can be a wealthy guy, he can be an intellectual, he can be a stupid guy, he can, be anybody, but as long as the approach is with bhakti or with the purpose for which he wants to, the same warmth is given to everybody who goes near. Similarly, I feel our Mahasannidhanam and Sannidhanam are that like Agni. We need to go to them to receive that warmth. Because the Guru does not merely give us information. They don't give us the information. The Guru transforms the way we see things. A true Guru does not merely answer our questions. They transform the questioner. They don't merely show us the path, but they make us capable of walking the path. And ultimately, in Advaita, the greatest teaching is that the truth we are seeking outside is none other than the self within. And that is why Guru is indispensable. When we speak of Guru Parampara, we are extraordinarily blessed to belong to the tradition of Dakshinamaya Shri Sharada Peetham Sringeri. We all know that Shri Adi Shankaracharya established 4 Amnaya Peethams in Bharat, in 4 directions, north, south, east and west. And he established the Pradhana Peetham at Sringeri in south as a center for the preservation and propagation of Vedic Dharma and Brahma Vidya. He appointed his foremost disciple, Sri Sureshwara Acharya, as its first Acharya. Since then, the Peetham has been blessed by an unbroken succession of Acharyas. Think about that for a moment. Centuries have passed. Empires have risen and disappeared. Languages have changed. Political boundaries have changed. Science has transformed the world. Technology has transformed our lives. But the flame of Brahma Vidya has continued to burn. That is the miracle of Parampara. And the beauty of Sringeri is that this is not merely a historical lineage, it is a living lineage. The Sringeri tradition describes the succession as an avichinna Guru Parampara, an unbroken succession of spiritual masters. Each Acharya receives the wisdom, lives the wisdom, and transmits it. And that is how Sanatana Dharma has survived. And not merely through books, not merely through institutions, but through living teachers and living disciples. And this brings me beautifully to the uniqueness of today's program. Vande Guru Paramparam is a musical tribute intertwined with crisp insights into the Brahma Vidya Guru Parampara. I think this is a wonderfully conceived idea, because music and spirituality have always been inseparable in our tradition. When words become inadequate, we sing. When the mind becomes restless, the music brings it to stillness. When emotion becomes too deep for ordinary speech, music becomes a prayer. Our tradition has never regarded music merely as an entertainment. Nada itself has been regarded as a pathway to the divine. We speak of Nada Brahman, and therefore, when music is offered in the spirit of devotion, it can become an act of worship. And that is why our great acharyas themselves composed. And Sri Adi Shankaracharya gave us profound Advaitic works, but he also gave us compositions of extraordinary devotional beauty. He could speak the language of the Upanishads. He could debate with the greatest of scholars and win them over with his philosophy. And yet, he could stand before the Divine Mother and sing, Bhavanitvam Dase Mai Vidarat Trishtim Sagurunam. The same Acharya who proclaimed the highest non-dual truth also expressed the deepest devotion that one can think of. Because in our tradition, Jnana and Bhakti are not enemies. They are two wings of the same bird. And music gives us a wonderful way of bringing them together. And this is why I believe today's program is especially meaningful. A musical tribute can touch a dimension of the human personality which a conventional lecture may not reach. A verse can be explained, a philosophy can be taught, but sometimes when the same truth is sung, it enters the heart. That is the genius of our Indian tradition. The Veda was not merely written, it was heard and transmitted. The Upanishadic wisdom was not merely documented, it was lived and taught. Our stotras were not merely composed, they were sung, remembered, and handed down. And therefore, tonight's program is itself a small act of parampara. I'll be failing in my duty if I don't say this. I would particularly like to place on record my very deep appreciation of the efforts of Sri Mohan Srinivas.